Hi, welcome. This is Almendra Staffahili, and this is a video that introduces, hopefully briefly, a little bit about cutting the ties that bind. This is a method that was developed and created by a woman called Phyllis Krystal, who was English, who lived in the United States, and who, throughout her life, introduced and explained the method that she had created. And so, with this video, what I'm hoping to put forth is why, why are we doing this, and what is the method itself? My mother and I have created FreeYou World, which is a part of the company that I own, Intercultural Understanding, because we're very interested in putting forth the work that Phyllis did. It's an amazing technique to help you to free yourself from limiting programmings that you may have taken on in childhood from your parents, from authority figures. It's a wonderful technique also to free yourself from limiting beliefs and things that are holding you back. And so we're very pleased to be able to offer this and to share this method more widely through FreeYou World. I am going to share a brief little presentation that I created to help us understand a little bit more about the method. Here I am with my mother, Mandy Staffa. We have been using this method, I would say, me practically my whole adult life. I started when I was 16. My mother was introduced to the method beforehand, and she trained with Phyllis Krystal to put forth the method into the world. Here we can see a picture of her with Phyllis at one of the seminars that they were giving. I want to point out that this method was created through a technique, a waking reverie or a dream technique that Phyllis and her neighbor Virginia created, and it was created based on the idea that they can connect together, forming a triangle, with Phyllis at one side, in this case Virginia at the other, and at the top, the visualization or the imagination or the sensation of your higher consciousness. And now your higher consciousness is this part of you. It's your true self. It's the wisdom that we all have within us, and that we can call upon when we need to have it. So they, through different meditations, they receive this triangle technique in order to connect to the high C. And through the work and asking their higher consciousness to answer questions and to guide them, they came up with this method. And Phyllis then went on to write books on it. And so I really invite you to read the first one, which is Cutting the Ties That Bind. There's another book, Cutting More Ties That Bind, and there's also Cutting the Ties from Karma. So there is materials that you can learn to use the material in the book on your own. There's a foundation, the Phyllis Krystal Foundation, and you can access their information and get the materials. But my mother and I have been called really now to put this work forward, to create a community of people that are interested in the work and that want to use it. And so our invitation with this short video of explanation is that you find out more and that you get in touch with us if you'd like to participate in our seminars and our retreats, or also even on our online courses. So within the method itself, because we are really interested in working on this in a collective way. The way that you would connect in a pair is through that triangle that I described before. And so if you were working with me, you'd have me on one side of the triangle, you'd be on the other, and then you'd connect up to your higher consciousness. But when we're in a group, we need a way to collectively all connect at the same time. And so I'm just introducing one of the symbols that is a part of the method, and we're going to be seeing some drawings that my mother made, that she interpreted the words from the book to represent. Here we see the maypole, and this is one of the symbols that you may know from Nordic traditions in the European space. It's a pole that's made out of wood. It's deeply grounded into the earth. And at the top of the pole are all of these ribbons of different colors. And what you would normally see is children doing a dance in such a way that they start to decorate the pole with these ribbons. Now, Phyllis Krystal, in order to work with a group, she received this image whereby each person is connected to their higher consciousness via a ribbon. And then you're also connected in multiple triangles to everyone else that's also doing the work. And so during the seminar, we talk a little bit more about this particular symbol that we use, as well as many others. But this is a beautiful way for us to connect with our higher consciousness as part of a collective. And because we are looking to do this as a group, it's very powerful to know this type of symbols and these types of images that we're going to be using. One of the things that's really sort of the foundational part of this course and part of this work is the figure eight. And I want to talk a little bit about how the method works. What we're doing is we are reprogramming our subconscious mind, giving it instructions that we want to separate our energy and the overlay or the programmings that we've received from ourselves. And our subconscious mind, Phyllis talks about it as it being kind of childlike, and it really understands images and drawings and symbols. And so when we use symbols that are charged with positive energy, such as this one that's been used by hundreds of people over a long period of time, you're connecting to that energy as you're using it. And so when we're thinking of separating ourselves from the influence of people, the negative programs that we've received from people, or when we're looking to separate ourselves from the negative overlays of limiting beliefs or perhaps even very strong emotions that dominate us that we no longer want to have dominating us. What we do is we use the figure eight as a way to impress upon the subconscious mind that we're ready to separate. And so what you do is you imagine yourself in a circle of golden light, and it's the size of your both arms extended, and it's on the floor, and this is your own personal space. And then you imagine another circle of golden light in front of you where you're going to put the person from whom you're going to be cutting with, or where you're going to put the symbol from which you're trying to detach that influence from. And you will run the figure eight. So there will be this blue neon light that we will draw in the form of a figure eight going clockwise around the person or the symbol in front of you, and then returning around your left, coming around back, your right, and you're going to basically sort of put that light in movement between the two circles, impressing upon your subconscious mind that you're looking to create independence, that you're looking to separate your energies. And when we're closest to our subconscious mind is when we're about to go to sleep and when we wake up in the morning. And so what we will do is we will practice visualizing this figure eight around what it is or who it is that we're cutting from. If it's a person, it's going to be a 2-week preparation of this visualization. And if it's a symbol, it takes 4 weeks. Who can you cut from? You can cut from your parents, your primary caregivers. This technique is also a response to us not having those puberty rituals, those rites of passage that we used to have in cultures where you can move from childhood into adulthood as a whole adult. And so we usually start with our parents, with our primary caregivers, because they were the ones who had the greatest influence on us when we were little. And we may have absorbed negative patterns that we no longer want, or we're now seeking to separate ourselves from. We can also cut the ties that bind from basically any other person, ex-partners, bosses, authority figures. The only people that we can't cut from are children, our own children under the age of puberty, because they're still our responsibility. And we also can't cut from our current life partner, because if we are in a relationship such as that, we've kind of made the commitment to work together at our growth in this lifetime. Of course, if you do separate, you can cut from your ex-partners, which is also very beneficial. So people, pretty much everyone, and symbols can be from limiting beliefs that we may have. Symbols can also be specific, sort of dominating emotions that control us. Perhaps we lose it. We have anger as something that we want to release ourselves from, or at least the negative overlay of anger, because some anger is obviously it's healthy. It's a healthy emotion, but if it's too dominating, we can also learn to separate ourselves from that. And then really any other things, addictions, anything that is really sort of holding us back from being our true self. So this is something that we will practice. We will also explain in the course or in the seminar other uses of using of the figure eight. What we're really looking for is to create that independence. And these symbols are charged with positive energy because they've been used by so many people. Some other symbols that we use are, for example, the beach ball, which is a protection symbol, and we'll explain more uses of that. But you can put it around you to protect you. You can put it around your children who are under the age of puberty, your animals, your pets, your car, your house. There's different uses, and we will practice the use of the beach ball. And then this coming specifically from the method itself, but there are other symbols that again, collectively have been used for centuries, such as the yin yang. And so we'll also use that as a way of balancing our masculine and our feminine, our receiving and our giving energies to get into greater sense of equilibrium. So I hope this has introduced you a little bit to some of the ideas. When we do a cut from a person and from a symbol, we will have been practicing this figure eight for this period of time. And then there's a cutting ceremony in which I guide you, giving you instructions that you repeat to yourself on visualizing and seeing those ties that bind you to the person in front. And there's a specific way of cutting those ties, separating them from you, from the person in front of you, destroying them, healing yourself and healing the other person, and then also working through a way of forgiving them for anything that they may have done to you or that you may have done to them, and then sending them off with a blessing. What ends up happening as well is that we do a purification ceremony, and over time you do feel a much lighter relationship with that person, and there are ways that you can really notice the benefits of it. In addition to that, obviously, there's the symbol cut, which is slightly different because you're going to be actually destroying the circle of golden light with the symbol in it, and so I guide you through that. One of the things that we're really excited about, though, is working in groups and collectives, creating a community. Because if we do gather 10 people at a particular seminar or in an online course, we're able to do instant cuts because of the collective energy, that connection through that maple. At least 10 people, we can actually do a cut instantaneously. And so it's very exciting, and we're really hoping to create such a community. If you do want to find out more, please, of course, get in touch. And I look forward to getting to know you and to introducing you to this method, or to helping you in your journey with it if you're already using it. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.